No, hard to bang just to ride the race.
You just make this point.
$10 million.
Let's do this thing, man.
Yes, sir.
We gon' go live, yo. We gon' go live. We gon' go live.
Can't argue with that. Can't argue with that. I'm a father. I'm Ryan. And it is a week before the best time of year starting. Football Sunday is a week away, man. I'm so excited for this season, man. You excited for this
I'm
season?
excited. I'm excited. And I have a question for you.
Yeah.
How about them Cowboys?
You want to know something? I got something to say about them. You ready?
Hey, what's up?
What's up, man?
Hey, we have a special guest in the
back
building.
again.
What up,
He's back. He enjoyed it so much.
He enjoyed it so much. He had to come back.
Listen, I was
So nice, had to do it twice, right?
so nice. Had to do it
Well,
twice.
convenient for you. Hey, scoot in and get the camera's view a little bit. Okay, go ahead, man.
Make yourself
I feel part of the family now, man. Shoot,
You're not permanent,
alright.
but you're part of the family.
Right, hey, that's
Today.
fine. I'll take what I can get. I'll take what I can get, man.
But we have something serious to talk about. Sorry to beat you up with race, but we're going to speak about the plight of the black quarterback. My dad told me about a black quarterback in the 1960s, 1970s. His name is James Harris. Look him up because he's erased from the history books as far as I can tell. I never heard of him, but my dad knew about him. James Harris was a great black quarterback, ironically for the Los Angeles Rams. He set records. He went to the NFC Championship twice. He was great. He was great, and he was voted to the Pro Bowl MVP twice. Selected the 16th captain, and then after all of that, the Rams released him. Oh no! Initially, the Rams brought in five quarterbacks, all white, of course, to try to unseat him. To
Make it easier. Sounds like
to make
sounds like our history in general.
It sounds-
Wrapped up in a sport.
It sounds current. If we bring it forward, it sounds
Right.
like something so
history always
relevant.
repeats itself.
Okay.
History always, but they finally found that guy who is almost as good as him, and they traded him to the San Diego. He was a backup. And he never saw the field again. But this guy has NFL MVP credentials, Pro Bowl credentials. Took his team. He was clutch. I don't know what else to say about him. He was a Grambling State standout. Matter of fact.
So-
but that's what it is.
Wow.
And now we transitioned that now to 50 years later, still dealing with the same issues, right?
Oh yeah, most definitely.
So-
So, what's the first the first example of this that you can think of?
So I've been watching football now for close to 20 years, and one thing I've always noticed, and I think I said something to you about it last week, and I said I want to talk about it, is the plight of the black quarterback. It just seems like no matter what, no matter how great that they might be, they always get run out the league. Like there's no, look at it like this. Not only are there not that many black quarterbacks starting, there's not that many black quarterbacks on a team in general. Just like,
most of them are wide receivers.
They can't be a backup black quarterback. Like for instance, we actually just cut Joe Webb, but in order for him to be the backup quarterback, he had to play special teams.
Yeah.
He had to be a receiver. Like you know what I mean? Like it's not good enough. Look at Cordell Stewart. Slash. Well, let's turn him into a receiver. Like he's a good quarterback. Let's turn him into a receiver.
Returner, slot receiver.
Terrell Pryor.
Terrell Pryor was quarterback in the Raiders. He was actually
Showers.
Terrell Pryor was quarterback in the Raiders.
Right.
Jamil Showers laid a
actually-
nasty hit stick the other day
Terrell
in the preseason.
Pryor was
Jamil
pretty good as a
Showers,
quarterback.
the backup to Dak Prescott initially.
So
he was nasty,
Okay.
and they made him move
Okay.
to safety. They made him move to safety, man.
So-
he was nasty.
so-
he was nasty. Look him
so-
up, Jamil Showers.
no one.
Hey, I
needs
want to talk about Jamil Showers. Jamil Showers,
So-
the best quarterback since sliced bread. Go ahead.
So you know, transition
Dak
forward.
Prescott.
You
Sorry.
look at like Cordell Stewart. He had to transition positions, right? If you take it forward, you remember there was one Vince Young. Do you know his record as a starter? 31-19, 62% winning record.
Wow.
What happened to him? Blackballed out. You know he's still only 30, 32
I know, right?
years old, right?
Exactly.
He's been out the league for like five years.
Man, you know what? Vince Young is the reason why I would ever watch college sports. college football. Like when I saw him,
He was awesome.
in that championship. I was just amazed, and I was like, "Who is that guy?" I felt the same way about Cam. You know what I mean? Like, but when I saw Vince Young, I was like, "Wow, this is an amazing game. That guy is an amazing guy by himself. Like, this is amazing. Everything's amazing." You know what I mean? I was just blown. My mind was blown by that game.
So we'll transition to this. We have some fans watching, and they want us to talk about Kaepernick. So let's fast forward a little bit. Colin Kaepernick. So the Broncos brought back Brock Osweiler, right? Hold on, just bear with me.
All right. Yeah.
So we got Brock Osweiler back for $700,000. Brock Osweiler, right? We got Jacksonville Jaguars with Blake Bortles and Chad Henne. We got. He's like, I didn't. Right, hold on.
He's still playing.
Michigan quarterback.
Still playing.
Hold on. So let's talk about this. What if I told you this? What if I told you your quarterback got benched, right? Like you're the starting quarterback. You got benched, and then you start and you put up starter-worthy stats. And the next offseason, you're both free agents, and the guy that got benched has a job and you don't. Blaine Gabbert has a job. Did you know he plays for the Cardinals? He got benched for Kaepernick. You got benched for Kaepernick, right? So
yeah, he has a job. I mean, and just
and you know the thing about it is they keep saying, "Oh, I'm gonna wait for someone to get injured. Wait for someone to get injured." Joe Flacco got injured. Do you know who they brought in? A guy from a minor league arena football league.
Yeah.
No, not arena football league. Minor league arena football. He pays to play arena football. They don't pay him. Like he buys his jersey, his pads. He shows up to the game.
I mean, coming out of college, they don't want you to be a quarterback. Like no matter who you are, if you have a little bit of wheels, they're going to try to change you to receiver. As a matter of fact, Antoine Randall L was a quarterback. You know what I mean? Josh Cribbs was a quarterback.
Right.
Like there's a lot of quarterbacks. Michael Robinson was a quarterback. I mean,
so round table talk. Do y'all think the bottom line on Colin Kaepernick? Do y'all think he's not playing? He's not on the roster right now due to the fact that he's no longer capable, or due to the fact of his stance?
that's a waste of time. Go to the next question.
We know
he's capable.
Let's address it. The people.
This is my stance.
People want to know.
This is my stance on it. I think it's a double-sided edged sword because I understand why he's doing what he's doing. I'm all for it. I'm all for him kneeling and being able to do what he wants to do. It's America. But in America, there's consequences for an action. Whether the consequence, if I go, I'm a teacher, right? If I go and I wear,
if you don't stand up for the pledge of allegiance, what happens to you though? What happens to you? What happens to you?
I get fired.
You get fired? You would get fired if you didn't stand for the national anthem.
Now, I don't think I would get fired, but there would be some
suspended though.
There would be some kind of
there would be a consequence.
There would be a consequence.
You know, and so
I was just asking, but I didn't want to make your argument for you.
No, like if I want to say a prayer before volleyball game. Shout out Chattahoochee Cougars.
Shout out
volleyball. If I want to say a prayer, there will be consequences, and you know every league. And this is like Ezekiel Elliott. I mean, kind of taking it to that. You do something, there's consequences to it, and you have to be ready for those consequences in life. And it's clear and obvious that he's being blackballed.
Because there's 20 quarterbacks playing that are worse than him. Well, at least 10 quarterbacks playing right now starting that are worse than him.
Right, so and I guess the way that I see it too is, let me get this straight. You cut Colin Kaepernick to bring on Brian Hoyer to be your starting quarterback. Now, what type of sense does that make? Now, you know your ceiling as a football team with Brian Hoyer as your starting quarterback. Mind you, you've seen him start 8 different teams. Never led a team to the playoffs. So you know best case scenario where y'all gonna win. 5 games tops.
Yeah, exactly.
5 tops.
Yeah.
So,
and then let's talk about another quarterback that used to be a dominant in the league. Jason Campbell. Jason Campbell.
I forgot about him.
Yeah, Jason Campbell.
He was a Pro Bowl
Anybody remember
quarterback.
Jason Campbell?
Red-
He was a Pro Bowl
Redskins,
quarterback.
right?
Redskins. He played
Yeah.
for a few teams, matter of fact, because he was moved around like they
So,
do black quarterbacks, like they did James Harris.
James
Just-
Harris.
Yeah, they
Just
moved
so-
him around.
There's all these
Right, what's happening now happened back then
Yeah.
in 1970.
all of these quarterbacks that were, mind you, each quarterback we're about to name had a Pro Bowl season.
Exactly.
Blake Bortles, Chad Henne, Josh McCown, Brian Hoyer, Brock Osweiler, Mark Sanchez. Just name a few. Those six I just named off the
I'm
bat.
following you.
None
I'm
of them
following
Pro
you.
Bowl, right?
Yes, sir.
Vince Young, Jason Campbell, Josh Freeman,
RG3.
RG3. RG3 was Rookie of the Year over Andrew Luck, who was the greatest quarterback prospect in the last 30 years.
Exactly.
And Andrew Luck had a fantastic rookie year.
Yeah.
And the voting wasn't even close.
He's a
Wasn't even
prototypical
close.
quarterback in
Wasn't
size.
even close. Wasn't even close.
Yeah.
Wasn't even close. What? All these guys left. Go. And those six guys I just named, they're still capable of playing right now. They're still
Exactly. Off the
under
couch.
30, 34 years old.
Exactly.
They're
But
still-
guess what the biggest claim to fame they have now is the free agent pool on Madden. That's it. That's it. They're on the free agent pool on Madden.
And you know what's going to be funny is that it's going to take for like Jay Cutler, who sucks, to get injured, and in Dolphins, that's when somebody's going to call Kaepernick up to come play.
Maybe.
I don't
I
think
figure
so.
if they
because-
haven't taken him now, they're not going to take him later because they're like, hey, I'm steadfast on this. They're not going
Think
to take
about
him
it like
later.
this.
Unless he comes out on record and softens his stance. To be honest with you, I'm not trying to be Uncle Tom.
You know-
Don't call me Uncle Tom. Whatever.
What do you,
but
wait,
he definitely
what do you mean by soften the stance?
like. I just feel
Because
like
he already came out and said he's not.
he says
taking
he's
the
not
knee.
kneeling.
He's not taking the knee. What you want him to do?
Well, he just had a teammate recently say, I'm sorry to bring up this because I'm not really sure about it, but he had a teammate recently that said that Kaepernick told him to do something. So with that being said, he's a 49er. I'm sorry for ignorance, but he's a 49er. He said that Kaepernick told him to do something, and it was kind of objectionable. And he did it. Matter of fact, he sat down. The recent 49er that sat down, I don't remember his name, but he recently shelled out the fact that he was inspired by Kaepernick. You know what I mean? And that made, I was like, no, you should keep Kaepernick's name out your mouth unless you're speaking positively, unless you're doing positively towards the NFL and toward, anything else. But when he said that, I was like, Kaepernick's done. Because he mentioned Kaepernick and he was like, Kaepernick told me. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so I was like, Kaepernick, he's dead now because he's that cancer to the locker room now that they're looking at. Because
Let me ask you this.
righteousness, that's cancer.
Why is it-
stand on your own 2 feet? Cancer.
People don't like to feel
Take a
uncomfortable.
knee.
Why
Yeah,
is
people
it?
don't like to feel
Why
uncomfortable.
is it that y'all think that this is a continual issue with black quarterbacks? Not. Why is it that, for whatever reason, my issue is that quarterbacks who never have a season as good as some of these black quarterbacks. They're in the league for 13. Josh McCown has been on 15 NFL teams. This guy has, like, he's just not even good. He's been on 15 teams, been in the league for 13 years.
And
It always happens to
And
black
Jason
quarterbacks.
Campbell almost has a 2-to-1 interception
Jason Campbell
to
was
touchdown.
a Pro Bowl
No, but I'm saying
quarterback.
his interception to touchdown ratio is 2-to-1 almost.
Yes.
You know what I mean? That's crazy.
Vince Young
That's
won
crazy.
62% of his games.
It's
He won 3 playoff games.
it's very.
Jason Campbell threw over 3,000 yards twice. You know what I mean? That's crazy.
If you look at the analysts, the draft analysts, and everything on what they talk about for quarterbacks, they always talk about they have a great arm, but they have to be smart. They have to know.
Yeah.
They have to know read defenses, and they have to know this. So I'm thinking, is it a stereotype?
Yes,
Against
most
black
definitely stereotype.
quarterbacks, like a black quarterback's not smart enough to be able to handle. But then when you do have like a black quarterback, they'll say, oh, this guy, he knows what he's talking about. It's almost like you speak proper. Like
Yeah,
you're telling me I
Very
speak
true.
proper.
Very true.
Oh, he knows.
He's so smart. He's one with the playbook. He's the first one to leave.
He's a leader.
Last one to leave. He's
Right.
a leader.
And they really harp
That's
on
what
that.
he's supposed to do.
That's what he's supposed to do. And this is like, it's like it's a big thing.
But you know what
when
though,
that
Michael Vick.
happens.
Michael Vick. I'm not trying to play Michael Vick or anything, but he's the best or the most dynamic black quarterback to ever live, and he didn't work. And he actually said that. You know what I mean? He said that he was the first one to leave and the first one to leave. You know what I mean? He was the last one there and the first one to leave. You know what I mean? So everyone maybe is taking Vic and putting that on us maybe. I don't know. But I really don't know. I don't know. But it is a conundrum. A bit of a conundrum.
So let's finish up with this.
Yes, sir.
By the end of the season, or excuse me, will Kaepernick get signed by a team this season outside of Utah? Yes or no?
I'm just gonna go ahead and say yes.
Pause.
I don't think so.
I personally don't think he's getting signed.
Because a lot of things have happened. Like, okay,
A lot
so
of-
think
a lot of
about
injuries have happened.
injury in Baltimore, no signage. Injury in
so-
Miami, no signage.
So
injury
and the thing about it is, if y'all remember,
injury in New York Jets. New York Jets have an injury regardless of what you say because their psyche is injured.
So you remember Pete Carroll, the Seahawks coach? They brought him in, and he said,
perfect quarterback to back up Russell Wilson.
He said, "Colin, we're not going to sign Colin Kaepernick. This guy is good enough to be a starter."
We're not gonna sign him though.
But what if
So
it's
we're not gonna sign him.
what if it's a what if
So
it's a,
you don't want that much talent.
What if it's
Okay.
like, all right, I'm thinking this is how he's going to get signed. It's going to be a team who's on the cusp of the playoffs,
I don't
right?
think
Who's right there.
Like Derek Carr.
Like Derek Carr last year. Like Derek Carr last year. And they need to get him in and just say, you know what, come in here, finish these last 2 games. Let's get us in here and let's get us through the playoffs and see what we can do. I think in desperate times comes desperate measures.
And I think
that's what's going to happen.
And as much as I would love to agree with you, I just don't.
All right.
Don't see it happening. But I want it to happen.
We'll play it out and see how it goes.
Hope it happens.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right.
I really appreciate you guys
Yes,
letting
sir.
me come
Yes,
on.
sir.
Shout out.
This was a great
Shout out.
time.
Yes, sir.
Great time.
But yeah, I mean, that's basically it, man. Like,
Yeah.
but to be honest with you, I think that, and I'm sorry to say this, but the league would be 100% white if they could control it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
if they could control it, it'd be 100% white. Sorry, but that's the way it is.
So, with all that being said, we're looking forward to a new football season here coming up. Successful football season. And of course, we should mention the fact that we did say all that, but our teams do have 2 black starting quarterbacks.
We have
Shout
2
out.
black quarterbacks. Yes,
Shout
sir.
out. Shout
Cam
out.
and Dak.
Hey, exactly.
And we had Jamil Showers, but not anymore. But we're at Chucktown Bar and Grill. We'll be opening soon, and make sure you do support it. We'll let you know when we are opening up officially. 2467 Savannah Highway. Be there, be square every Sunday. All right.
Absolutely.
But y'all have a good evening, and you cannot argue with that.
Don't.